So let's see what's worth playing in June 2025 with a few you've probably never even heard of. Oh, and before we jump in, drop a like if you want to see more videos like this on the channel. Right, we're going to start with probably the most anticipated game this month, which is Death Stranding 2 on the beach. If you're not aware, this is the second installment in the series, where the first one launched back in 2019 on the PS4. But over the last couple of years, we've had teasers, trailers, and more recently, gameplay for the second game. And I'll be honest, this is already shaping up to be one of the best looking games on the PS5 this year. Now, what we do know is it will follow on from the events of the first game, where you play as Sam Porter Bridges, Norman Reedus. And although we don't know the actual story yet, we do know there will be a new organisation named Drawbridge. We've got his BB and plenty of travelling across this weird and wonderful post-apocalyptic America. As you would expect, there are going to be familiar faces as well as new characters, and once again a world which is filled with weird sci-fi tech, vast open landscapes, and enemies that you'll need to evade and fight. Now, we've not seen a huge amount of gameplay at this stage, but enough to say that the visuals look absolutely stunning. I mean, the first game still looks great today, but this thing is just next level detail. We're talking dark, gritty, scary, and cinematic that has that Kojima style written all over it. It's also been said that the combat has been improved and will be a little more focused this time, and there will be new enemies. Now, I'm sure as we get closer to launch day, we're going to see even more details about it, but this is one that I am hyped to play. And as mentioned, I think this could be one of the biggest and best looking games that we're going to get on the PS5 in 2025. So Death Stranding 2 drops on June 26th exclusively to the PS5, unless you go for the Early Access Edition, and you'll get to play that on June 24th. Okay, and next up is a game that if you took GTA, Cyberpunk and Watch Dogs Legion, I imagine this is what it would turn out like. So it's called Mind's Eye, and this looks pretty good. The fact that it's developed by a studio founded by former Rockstar North president Leslie Benzies immediately gives me hope that this is going to be a banger of a game. So here's the same guy who worked on GTA Vice City, San Andreas, GTA 4, 5, in fact almost everything that's come out of Rockstar in the last 30 years. So Mind's Eye is a third-person, single-player game set in Red Rock in the not-so-distant future. We've got drones you can fly to navigate around the city, cop bots as robot police who patrol the streets, car chases, combat, and a power-hungry mayor who's trying to take over the city. So you play as Jacob, who's equipped with Mind's Eye, a neural implant who keeps getting flashbacks from his tour as a soldier. And if you're looking at this guy thinking, I'm sure I recognise him, well, you're not going mad. He just happens to be the same actor who played Lincoln Clay in Mafia 3. Now, the devs have said the story will be linear, so this is not an open world game as such, although there will be open world exploration available in between the missions. It just means that the missions and narrative will be a lot more focused. Now, to be honest, I am cool with that, as I like games like Mafia where you kind of know where you need to go next. It's also going to take around 15 hours to complete the main story, which will put it in line with something like the Mafia series. So if you're looking to scratch that GTA itch now that GTA 6 has been delayed till 2026, well, Mind's Eye launches on June 10th this year, and it's only going to be £55 or $60, which I'm liking the recent trend of games launching at a little bit of a cheaper price. Plus, if you pre-order, you get the Ultimate Edition extras at no extra cost. And this is going to be coming to the PS5, Xbox Series and PC, so let me know in the comments what you think to this one. Okay, now how would you feel about cloning yourself? Well, this next one completely caught me by surprise and is not another Death Stranding game, it's the Alters. We got some early trailers back in June 2022, and I remember thinking, damn, this looks incredible. Well, 3 years on, we've got more gameplay and it looks like it is finally going to be dropping this month. So this is a sci-fi survival game where you play as a worker who was crash-landed on a deadly planet. What starts off as a lifetime experience turns into a disaster, as everyone else who's supposed to be here are dead. So you're stranded, alone, and your only option of survival and rebuilding is to clone yourself. But the twist here is each clone will have a different personality and a different set of skills. Essentially, they are called alters, who are each shaped by different life choices that you could have made in an alternative timeline. We've got miners, scientists, technicians, all of which you'll need to run and manage the base. Now, visually, this game does look very impressive, and it's definitely one of the most creative games that we've seen in a while, and it is pretty refreshing to see something totally different. So, The Alters launches on June 13th on PS5, Xbox Series and PC, and it's only going to be £29 and $35. Let me know what you think to this one. Okay, and this could be one of those underdog games that you can't tell if it's really good or just really weird, and that's FBC Firebreak. So it's a first-person shooter that's a 3-player co-op game, set in the same universe as Control, Remedy's 2019 game. And let's be honest, Remedy don't miss. I mean, they have given us Control, Alan Wake, and Max Payne, so if their track record is anything to go by, this should be a great game. Although it is of course totally different to anything they've done before. So in Firebreak, you team up with 2 others and play the role of the elite agents in the FBC, or the Federal Bureau of Control. You'll be given missions known as jobs where you need to complete the objectives, whether that's fixing equipment or clearing out rooms, all while fighting swarms or hordes of enemies. You'll also be able to customize your crisis kit, which is essentially a loadout of weapons, tools, grenades, and powers. Now this game is definitely going to appeal to fans of Control, but I think the co-op element is also going to be perfect for those who want to smash out a new teamwork game. So this launches on June 17th, and that's going to be playable on the PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. It's also going straight to Game Pass and PlayStation Plus for extra and premium subscribers. So it's definitely one worth checking out if you're on either of those plans. Also in June, we have Dune Awakening, which is finally launching after what feels like an absolute age. And this one looks incredible. So it's a huge open world survival MMO set in the Dune universe. Well, it's set in an alternative universe to the books and the movies, so it doesn't follow the same story or have all of the same characters. But it does have these. So just like the movies, you need to explore the deadly sands of Arrakis, crafting gear, scavenging for water, avoiding sandworms, and exploring some of the most iconic points of interest and locations. Now, I've got to say, this looks impressive. I'm liking the whole setting and visuals in this game. Now, we did actually get some early beta access within the last few weeks. If any of you got to play that, you'll know that this game is massive. Like, the open world is fully explorable, and as it's share play, you get to explore with your mates, build bases, go into battle together, and complete the missions as a team. Now, I feel like this game does a great job of staying true to the world of Dune. So if you're a fan of the books and the movies, you'll be pretty happy with the game. But it also looks like it will be a perfect MMO for those who don't know the movies, because as I said, you can build bases, unlock recipes, decorate and tweak it, as well as go full on PvE and PvP around the map, although it's not clear yet how much of the game will be PvP at this stage. So yeah, if you fancy a new MMO survival game to play, well, Dune Awakening launches on June 10th on PC, and although it is coming to consoles, we don't have an exact date for this yet. And if you're lucky enough to be getting a Switch 2 on June 5th, we have Mario Kart World dropping on the same day. Now this is the latest installment from the series, but this time there's a twist. So instead of simply jumping between races via the menus like we're used to, there is now an open world element to the game which allows you to drive around and explore the world between each race. There's even going to be dynamic weather, day and night cycles, new driver mechanics like grinding rails, skimming across the water and jumping off walls. They've even increased the multiplayer limit to 24 players, which you can play online with your friends, which is going to be absolute carnage, and I'm all for it. Now, we have seen a few glorified trailers and limited gameplay, which does look impressive, but last month I did in fact attend a public event in April, so I got to play this for around 30 minutes in a booth, and I can say that this was an instant buy for me. I'm already a huge fan of the Mario Kart games, as it's a brilliant game to play at home with the family. And after seeing how good this game looked and played, I think this is going to be one of the best Switch 2 games that we're going to get this year. So this launches on the same day as the Switch 2, which is June 5th. And if you did want to see my early hands-on review, I did a full video of the Switch 2 on the channel last month. And just quickly talking about the other Switch 2 games, if you are picking up a Switch 2, here are a few other games launching on the same day. First up is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This is getting a Switch 2 edition with improved performance, high resolution and HDR support. Cyberpunk 2077 is also coming to the Switch 2, which feels like a huge deal. I played this at the event as well, and it looked great. We're then also getting Street Fighter 6, Hogwarts Legacy, Split Fiction, and Sonic X Shadow Generations. Again, all of these games have been upgraded to play on the new console, with things like improved resolutions and frame rate. But let me know in the comments if you will be picking up a Switch 2 on June 5th. And one for the Five Nights at Freddy's fans, we are getting a new installment in June called Secret of the Mimic. Just like the previous games, it's a survival horror which is filled with puzzle solving, stealth, dark corridors and plenty of jump scares as you're trying to survive and uncover the hidden secrets. This time is set in the abandoned workshop of Murray's Costume Manor, and you have to recover Edwin's prototype AI called the Mimic. It's going to be creepy, it's going to be scary, and it looks like it could be the best looking game that we've had in the series. It's also set as a prequel to the other games, as this one is set in 1979, way before the original games. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this origin story plays out once it drops. So, Five Nights at Freddy Secrets of the Mimic launches on June 13th, and that's coming to the PlayStation 5 and PC. And have we got any Tron Legacy fans, or do you like that futuristic retro 80s vibe? Well, next we've got Tron Catalyst, an action-adventure game set in the Tron universe. Now, this is totally different to everything else that we've seen today, and might not be the game that we all hope to see, but it could also scratch that neon itch, as it's giving me Hades vibes with a neon skin. So it's set after the events of Legacy and Identity, where you play as a courier who's able to adjust the timeline and time loops with a power known as the glitch. So it is a top-down view with cartoon cutscenes, but is packed with cyberpunk and neon vibes that we love to see. I don't really have much else to say about this particular game, but if you like tactical action or games with that futuristic setting, Tron Catalyst drops on June 17th on PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Okay, and then Stella Blade is also getting an update this month, and by update I mean we're getting new content and it is coming to PC. So firstly, if you've not played this yet on PS5 because you've been waiting for it on PC, well, you're in for a real treat with this one. Now, it's not just a visually stunning game, but it's got some awesome soundtracks, a great storyline, combat and setting that makes this one of the best games that we've had on the PS5. Now, I completed this last year and it is one of my favourite games. Well, over on PC is now going to support AI upscaling and frame generation, unlocked frame rates, ultra-wide support and DualSense controller support. It's also getting new boss battles, improved resolution upgrades and 25 new costumes. But let's be honest, no matter how many costumes that you give Eve, I feel like there's going to be some interesting mods on PC. So on June 11th, Stella Blade will be available on PC, and all PS5 users who have the game will get the extra content via a free update on the same day. Now, we also have two gaming events happening in June that are definitely worth talking about. The first is Summer Game Fest on June 6th. Now, this is the annual gaming event where we get to see updates on unreleased games as well as trailers for new games that we're not even aware of yet. This is usually a 2-hour show which kind of takes the place of E3 and gives us an insight into what might get shown off at Gamescom this year. Last year we saw games like Star Wars Outlaws, Alan Wake 2 DLC, Dune Awakening and LEGO Horizon Adventures. Then a couple of days later on June 8th we have the Xbox Games Showcase. Obviously this is targeted toward games releasing on Xbox, but most of the game's features are usually playable on PS5 and PC too, so it's always worth checking that out. As for the PlayStation Plus games that we're getting in June, well, at the time of making this video I don't have the full list of PS Plus games, but what I do have is last month's PS Plus games that can still be added to your library or downloaded before June 2nd, and that is Ark Survival Ascended, Balatro and Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun. So again, make sure you add these to your library even if you don't plan on downloading them. Okay, well that was a quick look at the top 10 games that we're seeing in June 2025. What do you think? I think there is a nice mix in here for everyone. We've got a huge PS5 exclusive, PC games, new Switch games, and that GTA type game if you want to fill the void before 2026. But let me know what you're looking forward to or what